Hello gang, Sharpshot21 here. We are putting together the AB drives and the idlers for the Voron 2.2 today. Let me get you set up and we'll get started with doing this. So today we are doing, as I mentioned, the AB drives and their idlers. For that, we will need all of these pieces right out in front of us. These are for mounting to the near rails, which are over here. A drive, B drive, cable channels, clamps, chain mounts, idlers left and right, chain guides, tensioners, plus a boatload of other accoutrements. First thing for the idlers, take the two tensioners on the side that sticks out further. There is need for two heat sets, one in each. I believe those are all the heat sets we need for this particular stage of the game. Okay. For the moment, those are done. Now, we need two of the 695s. The shims. And the 8x40, the M5x40s, which are here. That's what we're doing. Is we take one of the sides, they should snap in, but it's going to need a little trimming. I need my clamp. Okay, got that pinched down. Now, let me see how. Okay, so the ears for the mounting of the idler to the extrusion, those go to the outside. The spot with the heat cert goes away. Points towards the inside, or what will be the inside. For the tensioner, you want the hole, the round hole up, the hex down, and we're going to want some vibratite. for the bearing stack. We need 2 of the 695 2RSs. And an equivalent number of the shims. We also need 1 M5/40 and I have a set of tweezers because this is a little tricky. I'm going to stick the screw in, and then we need to stick a shim, a bearing with the flange down, a bearing with the flange up, and then another shim. This is going to be slightly tricky, but the trick is to stack them as needed. And that one. Also need an M5 nut. You want this, you don't want this snug. This needs to be able to slide up and down. So I am going to take this nut back off and Loctite it, and then I'll do the next one and we'll come back when I've got them both together. Alrighty, now it is time to put the adjusters together, and they are done with 2 M3 washers and the last 2 M3/40 screws. All we do is take the washer, slide it over, the M3/40, drives into the tensioner. Alright, so drive the screw all the way through, shove the adjuster all the way in. You are going to have some threads sticking out. That is to be expected. And then have the adjuster in a position to have as much slack as possible on it. Doesn't do you any good when you install it. You're installing it at the 10th position or at the top position, so then you have no way to tighten the belts. Repeat this process for the other side, and then it's time to work on the drives. Alright, we're going to start on B. I need some more of these 695s. And we need all 6 of them. We also need a bunch of these shims. Now, we take the B unit and we basically take the top off. We then take 2 M5x30s and they go through these 2 slots here. Run these in pretty much all the way. And this will be mirrored on the other side. Okay. Now, on the one with the spacer, or the adjustment offset, the one with the offset, it is a shim, 2 bearings, again, flanges opposing, and another shim. For the tall one, you get a shim, 2 bearings, 2 shims, two more bearings, top it off with a shim. Excuse me. Now we take the other portion of this one, and I'm going to just drive it together with the screws. And that will be this one close. To finish it off, we take one of the motors. Well, we'll do that in a minute. Let me get the other one done up. I've got them, I've spun them both around. We now need 6 M3x30s. 3 for each. And we'll need a couple of those nuts in a minute, but now I'm going to run the wires out the back. Actually, I'm going to run them out the side. That way I can then tuck it up under the back beam to run it into the cable chain. We also need 2 of these 20-tooth pulleys. I want to put these on after we mount the motors. That way I can align the belt path on the pulley with the belt path on the gears. Oops, and I've done that one upside down. So I'm going to put this on, and then we will fix that one. Okay. Now I'm going to drop this on. I'm going to line up the filament path, not the filament path, the that one is set. I'm going to leave it not Loctited, just so that I don't have to tweak it later. Let me fix this one, finish it, and then we will get on to the next step. A couple more things to do. For this module, which I believe is the A drive, you get to mount this cable chain on it, or this cable guide. It mounts here and here. Needs some heat sets. So we're going to put those in. We need 2. We also need this little holdery thing. That gets 2 M3 nuts. As this little brackety thing is the it clips into this slot, and that is used to mount the cable chain. That mounts with some M3x12, so I need to grab those. So, managed to mount the channel. It's only temporary. It will come back off when we start running cable chain. Got 2 M3x10s here and some M3x12s to hold this down. We've got both the A and the B side done. And I do have the back brace piece. We're going to do this in a slightly different order than what the manual says. We're going to mount this up. To mount this, we will need 4 per side M5x10s, and we'll need T-nuts. No, more T-nuts. Pull out 8 T-nuts. Now, this just slides in. I'm just going to tighten it down. And then these T-nuts are quite nice because they're roll-in style. So really put them in and then with a little bit of finicky, you can roll them over and snap them in. Take a Allen key, finish shoving it in. I plan on putting the sides on, but I'm missing the frame rails at the moment. So I'm going to lock down the top clamps, which will also lock down the side rails. And for those we are back with doing the putting the tensioners for the XY tensioners for the X and Y go on, and there's a specific way to do it. You also need the clamps, some T-nuts, and 5x16s. And the appropriate drive bit. Now, putting these on, the tensioners will slip over the end. And need to be sure to get the end of the extrusion flush with the end of the plastic, because everything else on the bottom, the rails where this mounts, all index from that point. Excuse me, from this point. So this needs to be flush with this, because then the rail mounts here and it ties into the ends here. If you don't set this flush, then you have problems. For these two, there's not enough to put the blank ends facing the same way or facing towards each other. They have to face the same way and towards the back. Alright, I'm going to tighten down, make sure it's all flushed up. Get them both installed, left and right. Now we need to grab one rail for each side. And the guides. Let me figure out how many nuts I need and screws, and I'll come back. One thing to do before we put the rail on is we want to make sure that we get the T-nuts for the bottom mount installed. You can put them in at the end, but it's just easier to do it now than it is when we're trying to fiddle with this. I've settled on 8 screws for this one. I find the easiest way to put the M3 T-nuts in is to take a little Allen key that's just big enough to fit through the slot. And roll them in. Keep the guides round. I'm going to pop out all the screws I need. Set them off to the side. What I'm trying to do is line up the T-nuts approximately with the respective screw hole for the T-nut. And then I'm just going to slot the guides on, because we do need to have the guides so that it stays centered. Finish centering up the T-nuts. Getting all the screws tightened down, then you can pull off the 2 guides. Remember, this end of the rail needs to be tight to this, otherwise all the rest of the index will be off. When we get the other one finished, then we'll mount them. I have successfully finished putting the rails on each. Now the next step is to tuck in some more of these M5 T-nuts. 2 here, 2 there. So that we can then mount these up to the back half of the gantry system. All we gotta do is take this, slide it in, make sure it stops on the rail. And then we secure the clamps and the back of the gantry to the T-nuts. Oh. that is the AB drive finished. Alrighty, this is Sharp Shot 21. Thank you all for tuning in. The AB drive assembly and majority of the gantry has been completed. If you guys liked this, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Next time we will be doing the X-axis, the XY joints and the X carriage, I believe. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. Sharps out. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps me out, and it lets you know when I put something new up. New videos will be going up on Tuesdays or Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. And if I do decide to do live streams, I will try to give 24 hours notice. So hit the subscribe button on the channel, and you'll be notified when I post that stuff too. Hope to see you next time. Sharps out.